Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing something a little different and super exciting. We're going on an adventure together. Get ready to close your eyes, relax, and let your imagination take you far, far away. In this video, I'm going to share a very special story about my trip to a place that looks like a dream, the Maldives. We'll talk about the beautiful blue water, the amazing fish, and all the exciting things I did there. This story is also great for anyone learning English. I'll be speaking slowly and clearly, using easy words, so you can practice your listening skills. Try to understand every part of the journey. Part 1. The dream takes flight. It all started with a picture. I saw a photo on my computer screen. It was a picture of a small house right over the blue ocean. The water was so clear you could see the fish swimming below. There were palm trees swaying softly in the wind. In the picture, the sun was shining, and everything looked very peaceful. It was like a dream. I looked at that picture every day. I imagined myself there. I imagined the warm sun on my skin, the soft sand between my toes, and the gentle sound of waves. This place, I learned, was called the Maldives. It's a country made of many small islands in the middle of a big ocean. From that moment, going to the Maldives became my biggest wish. It wasn't just a wish, it became a dream trip. Saving money for such a trip was not easy. Every week, I put a little bit of money into a special savings account. Sometimes, I had to say no to going out with friends or buying new things. But every time I felt a little sad about this, I looked at that picture of the Maldives, and it made me feel strong again. I worked extra hours, too. My family and friends knew about my dream. They would often ask, "How much more do you need for the Maldives?" Their questions made me feel even more excited. Finally, after many months, I had enough money. It was an amazing feeling. The next step was to plan the trip. There are so many islands in the Maldives, and each one has a beautiful hotel, called a resort. I spent hours looking at different resorts online. I read about them, watched videos, and looked at more pictures. I wanted to choose the perfect place for my dream. It was a lot of fun, but also a little difficult because everything looked so wonderful. I finally chose a resort that had those amazing houses over the water, just like in my picture. Then came the exciting part, booking the flight. I found a good flight, and with a few clicks, it was done. My trip to the Maldives was real. I started counting the days. I bought new swimsuits and sunglasses. I packed light, summer clothes. I wanted to be ready for the warm weather. The day finally came. It was departure day. I woke up very early. My stomach felt a little funny, a mix of excitement and a little bit of nerves. I said goodbye to my family. They wished me a great trip. I took a taxi to the airport. The airport was busy with many people, all going to different places. I checked in my luggage and went through security. Everything felt like a big adventure. When I sat on the plane, looking out the window, I couldn't believe it was happening. I was really going to the Maldives. The plane started to move slowly, then faster and faster. Soon, we were up in the sky, flying above the clouds. My dream was finally taking flight. Part 2. Arrival in Paradise. After many hours on the airplane, I started to feel a different kind of excitement. We were getting closer to the Maldives. The captain's voice came over the speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin our descent into Malé International Airport shortly. Please look out the windows to your right for your first glimpse of the Maldivian islands. My heart started beating a little faster. I pressed my face close to the window, ready. And then I saw it. Oh, my goodness! It was even more beautiful than any picture. The sky was a bright, clear blue, and below us, the ocean was not just blue, but 100 different shades of blue. From the plane, I could see tiny, green islands like little jewels scattered across a huge, sparkling blanket. Around each island, there was a bright, light blue ring. This was the shallow water, where the coral reefs were. Then, a darker blue, like deep ink, showed where the ocean was very deep. It was like looking at a painting that was alive and moving. I gasped. Wow, I whispered to myself. It was truly breathtaking. Soon, the plane landed gently at Malé International. Malé is the capital city of the Maldives. When I stepped out of the airplane, a wave of warm, soft air hit me. It wasn't hot and sticky, but warm and gentle, like a cozy blanket. The smell was different too, a fresh, salty smell from the ocean, mixed with a little bit of green, leafy smell from the plants. I took a deep breath and smiled. I'm really here, I thought. Getting my luggage was quick. Outside the airport, there were no taxis like in most cities. Instead, there were many friendly people holding signs. These people were from the different resorts, waiting to take their guests. My resort had told me that a seaplane would take me to my island. A seaplane is a small airplane that can land on water. I found the person with my resort sign, and they led me to a different part of the airport, a special terminal just for seaplanes. This part of the journey was an adventure in itself. The seaplane terminal was lively. Many small seaplanes were parked on the water, like colorful birds. They were bright red, yellow, and blue. Each plane had big floats under its wings instead of wheels. I watched as other people got on their planes. The engines made a loud, buzzing sound, and then the planes would take off from the water, splashing as they went. It looked so exciting. My turn came. I walked across a small floating dock and climbed into the small seaplane. Inside, it was much smaller than the big airplane. There were only about 15 seats. The pilot and co-pilot wore shorts and went barefoot. They looked very relaxed and friendly. I sat by the window again, even more excited than before. The pilot started the engine, and the plane began to move on the water. It picked up speed, bouncing a little, and then, slowly, we lifted into the air. The view from the seaplane was unbelievable. We flew low, so I could see everything very clearly. I saw more tiny islands, some with only a few palm trees, some with luxurious resorts. The colors of the ocean from this height were even more amazing. I saw large, dark shapes in the water. Those were the reefs, where thousands of colorful fish and other sea creatures lived. The sun made the water sparkle like millions of diamonds. I took many pictures with my phone, but I knew no picture could truly show how beautiful it was. It felt like I was flying over a magical map. After about 30 minutes, the seaplane began to descend. I could see my resort island below. It looked exactly like the pictures. I could see the overwater bungalows stretching out into the ocean, like lines of little houses on stilts. The seaplane landed softly on the water, right near a floating platform next to the island. It was such a smooth landing, like a bird touching down. When the seaplane stopped, a small, open boat came to pick us up and took us the short distance to the main jetty of the resort. As I stepped off the boat onto the wooden jetty, my feet touched the warmest, softest sand I had ever felt. It was like walking on powder. The air was filled with the fresh, clean smell of the ocean. Gentle waves made a soft shush sound as they touched the shore. In front of me, a line of palm trees swayed gently, their green leaves dancing in the light breeze. A friendly person from the resort, smiling warmly, greeted me with a cold, fresh drink. "Welcome to paradise," she said. And truly, it felt exactly like that. I had traveled so far from my everyday life to this incredible place. Everything I had dreamed of, everything I had seen in that first picture, was now real. I looked around, breathing in the fresh air, feeling the warm sun, and hearing the peaceful sounds. I knew, in that first moment, that this was going to be an unforgettable journey. I had arrived. Part 3: Embracing Island Life. After my warm welcome, the friendly resort staff took me on a small golf cart to my room. It wasn't just a room, it was my very own overwater bungalow. My heart was racing with excitement. The little house was built on wooden stilts right above the crystal-clear water. I walked inside, and my mouth dropped open in surprise. The room was beautiful. There was a big, comfortable bed facing a huge glass door. Through that door, I could see the endless blue ocean. It was like having a living painting in my room. I hurried to the door and opened it, stepping out onto my own private wooden deck. On the deck, there were 2 comfortable chairs and a small table. But the most amazing thing was the ladder that went straight from my deck down into the water. I could jump in the ocean whenever I wanted. I looked down from the deck. The water was so clear, I could see the sandy bottom. Little fish of all colors, like tiny jewels, were swimming right below me. It was like having a private aquarium. I took a moment to just stand there, feeling the gentle breeze and listening to the soft sound of the water under my bungalow. It was the most peaceful sound I had ever heard. After settling in, I knew what I had to do first. I changed into my swimsuit and walked to the ladder. The water looked so inviting, so warm and clear. I slowly went down the ladder, one step at a time. The first touch of the water on my skin was so nice. It was a perfect temperature, not too cold and not too hot. I took the last step and was completely in the water. I felt all the tiredness from my long journey just disappear. I floated on my back, looking up at the bright blue sky and the white clouds. It felt like I was in a dream world. I spent the rest of the afternoon exploring the shallow water right near my bungalow. I put on my snorkeling gear, a mask and a breathing tube called a snorkel. As soon as I put my face in the water, I was in a new world. The coral below me was like a city of rock, full of life. There were fish with stripes of black and white, fish that were bright yellow, and some that were shining blue. I saw a small school of fish moving together like one big, living cloud. I saw a little crab hiding in the coral. Every time I looked, I saw something new and beautiful. The fish were not afraid of me at all, they just swam peacefully around me. As the sun began to go down, the sky turned into a wonderful mix of colors. The bright blue changed to soft orange, pink, and purple. The ocean looked like it was on fire with these beautiful colors. I sat on my deck, watching the sunset. It was a perfect end to a perfect day. The air became a little cooler, and the stars began to appear in the sky, one by one. I had a delicious dinner at a restaurant on the beach, with my feet in the soft sand. The food was so fresh, especially the fish. I felt so happy and full of peace. My first full day in the Maldives was all about relaxing and being quiet. I didn't want to rush. In the morning, I woke up naturally to the sound of the ocean. I had breakfast with a wonderful view of the water. Then I found a perfect, quiet spot on the beach under a palm tree. I put a big beach towel on the sand and just lay there. I could hear the gentle sound of the waves and feel the warm sun on my skin. I read my book, but mostly, I just looked at the beautiful ocean. I didn't have to think about work or my to-do list. The only thing I had to think about was which new and amazing fish I might see that day. This feeling of serenity, of being so calm and peaceful, was the best gift the Maldives could give me. It was an escape from everything busy and loud. It was a chance to listen to the ocean, to see the beauty of nature, and to just be. Every day in paradise felt like a long, beautiful moment that I never wanted to end. Part 4: Adventures Beyond the Bungalow. After a few days of simply relaxing and enjoying the peace, I felt ready for more adventure. The ocean was not just a beautiful view, it was a huge, exciting world waiting to be explored. And the best way to see it was to go into it. My most amazing adventure happened when I went on a snorkeling trip to a special reef. The resort had a small boat, and a few of us, with a guide, went out to a spot a little further from the island. The guide told us this reef was famous for having many different kinds of fish and beautiful coral. When we arrived, the boat stopped, and the guide said, "Okay, everyone, jump in." I put on my mask, snorkel, and fins, and took a deep breath. Then, I splashed into the warm water. The moment I put my face under the water, I felt like I was flying through a giant, colorful garden. The coral here was even more amazing than near my bungalow. Some coral was shaped like big, round brains. Some was like delicate, waving trees. It was every color you could imagine: bright pink, deep purple, soft green, and sunny yellow. And the fish! There were so many more. Little fish, big fish, fish with long, flowing tails, and fish with flat, round bodies. I saw a group of parrotfish, which are very colorful and have a mouth like a parrot's beak. They were nibbling on the coral, making a soft crunching sound that I could even hear underwater. Then, the guide pointed. "Look," he signaled. And there it was, a manta ray. It was huge, like a giant, graceful bird flying slowly through the water. Its dark body moved so smoothly, its wide wings flapping gently. It wasn't fast, and it didn't seem afraid of us. It swam past, very close, and I just watched in complete awe. It was an incredible moment, seeing such a magnificent creature in its natural home. I felt so lucky. Later, I also saw a small, harmless reef shark swimming quietly in the distance. It was amazing to see so much life underwater. Besides snorkeling, I also tried some other exciting activities. One afternoon, I went kayaking. A kayak is a small, narrow boat that you paddle with your own hands. I paddled around my island, getting a different view of the resort and the bungalows from the water. It was peaceful, and I could see fish swimming even from the kayak. Another day, I went on a sunset cruise. We went on a bigger boat as the sun was setting. The sky was painting itself with vibrant oranges, reds, and deep purples. It was so beautiful to watch the sun disappear below the horizon, turning the whole sky into a masterpiece. We even saw a group of dolphins jumping and playing in the waves near our boat. They swam gracefully, jumping high out of the water, as if they were saying goodbye to the day. The food was another wonderful adventure. Every meal was a culinary delight. For breakfast, there were fresh fruits I had never seen before, like juicy passion fruit and sweet mangoes. There were fresh breads and eggs made just how I liked them. Lunch and dinner always had amazing fresh seafood. I tried grilled fish, juicy prawns, and even a local dish with tuna and coconut milk that was so delicious. One evening, the resort had a special beach barbecue. They set up tables right on the sand, with soft lights and the sound of the waves. We ate fresh fish grilled over an open fire, under the stars. It was a magical experience, eating such wonderful food in such a beautiful place. These adventures, both in and out of the water, made my trip even more special. I wasn't just observing the beauty of the Maldives. I was living it. Every day brought a new discovery, a new feeling of wonder. From swimming with incredible marine life to watching playful dolphins, and tasting delicious new foods, my time in the Maldives was filled with truly unforgettable moments. Part 5: Reflections and Connections. As my amazing trip continued, the days seemed to fly by like the clouds in the Maldivian sky. Each morning, I woke up feeling rested and happy. I still loved going into the ocean from my bungalow, and the snorkeling was always a new adventure. But after many days of adventures, I also started to have moments of quiet thinking. I would sit on my deck, usually in the late afternoon as the sun was starting to go down, and just look out at the huge, calm ocean. In these moments, I wasn't trying to do anything. I wasn't looking for fish or planning my next activity. I was just being. I watched the small waves gently move towards the shore, making a soft shush sound. I saw the sun sparkle on the water like millions of tiny diamonds. The air was warm and smelled fresh. In these quiet times, I thought about how different my life was here compared to my life back home. Back home, everything felt fast. There were always emails to answer, places to go, and things to worry about. Here, there was no rush. The only important thing was the beauty of nature. I realized how much the Maldives was teaching me. It was teaching me to slow down, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate simple things. The incredible colors of the ocean, the warmth of the sand, the kindness of the people, these were the real treasures. I felt a deep sense of peace I hadn't felt in a very long time. It was like the busy parts of my mind had gone quiet, and only the calm parts were left. Beyond these personal reflections, I also had some wonderful unexpected encounters with people. The resort staff were incredibly friendly. One morning, at breakfast, a young man who worked at the restaurant came to my table. He was from a nearby local island. He asked me how I was enjoying my stay. We started talking, and he told me a little about his life in the Maldives. He explained how important the ocean was for his family and for all the Maldivian people. He taught me a few words in Daifi, the local language, like Bassalamu alaikum for hello, and Shukriya for thank you. It was interesting to learn about their culture and their daily life. He was very proud of his country and happy to share it with visitors. Another time, I met an older couple from a different country at the beach bar. We started talking about our favorite snorkeling spots and shared stories about the amazing fish we had seen. They had visited the Maldives many times before and loved it just as much as I did. They told me about how the islands had changed a little over the years, but the natural beauty remained the same. It was nice to share my excitement with someone else who understood how special this place was. These small talks, these moments of connection with others, made my journey even richer. It reminded me that even in paradise, the human connection is very important. As the days turned into my last few days, a slightly sad feeling started to mix with my happiness. I knew my amazing trip was coming to an end. This feeling is called bittersweet, a little bit happy, a little bit sad. I wanted to hold on to every single moment. I woke up extra early to watch the sunrise, painting the sky with soft colors. I spent even more time in the water, trying to memorize every detail of the coral and the fish. I took long walks on the beach, letting the soft waves wash over my feet, watching the small crabs scurry into their holes. I tried to save all the sounds in my memory, the gentle lapping of the waves, the soft rustle of palm leaves, the distant hum of a boat. I wanted to remember the warm smell of the ocean air. I took extra time to look at the unique little shells on the beach. It was like I was trying to pack the entire beauty of the Maldives not just into my suitcase, but into my heart and mind, so I could take it all home with me. The realization that I would soon leave this perfect place made me cherish every remaining minute even more deeply. This was truly a special place that had changed something inside me. Part 6: The Return Journey and Lasting Impressions. The morning of my departure from the Maldives arrived too quickly. It felt like only yesterday I had arrived, stepping into this dream world. I woke up early, even before my alarm, to see the last sunrise from my overwater bungalow. The sky slowly changed from dark to light, painting the clouds with soft pinks and oranges. I sat on my deck, sipping my coffee, watching the gentle waves under me, knowing this was my last view for a long time. There was a mix of sadness in my heart because I had to leave, but also a lot of gratitude for all the beauty I had experienced. I had my last breakfast, taking extra time to enjoy every bite and every view of the sparkling ocean. I took a few last photos, trying to capture the feeling, not just the image, of this paradise. Packing my suitcase felt different this time. It wasn't just clothes. I felt like I was carefully putting away memories, feelings, and a new sense of peace. I said goodbye to the wonderful staff, thanking them for making my stay so special. They waved goodbye as I boarded the small boat that would take me to the seaplane platform. The seaplane flight back to Male International Airport was just as beautiful as the first one, but this time it felt like a farewell tour. I looked down at each tiny island, each perfect circle of reef, imagining the adventures happening below. The vibrant blues and greens seemed to glow under the sun. I felt a pang in my heart as the plane gained height, and the island started to look smaller and smaller, eventually becoming just tiny dots in the vast ocean. It was like saying goodbye to a dear friend. When I boarded the large airplane for my long flight home, the feeling was different from when I had arrived. I wasn't just tired from traveling, I felt rejuvenated. My mind felt clearer, and my body felt relaxed. I looked out the window as the plane took off from Male. The city lights twinkled below, and then we were above the clouds again, heading away from the paradise I had called home for the past days. During the flight, I looked through the many photos I had taken. Each picture brought back a special memory, the feeling of the warm sand, the amazing colors of the fish, the taste of fresh seafood, the sound of the waves. But I realized that the best memories weren't just in the photos, they were inside me. The feeling of complete relaxation, the joy of seeing a manta ray, the quiet moments of peace on my deck, these were things no camera could fully capture. Coming back home was a bit strange at first. The sounds of traffic seemed louder, and everything felt faster. But something inside me had changed. I brought back more than just souvenirs, I brought back a sense of calm and a fresh perspective. The Maldives had taught me the true meaning of peace and beauty. I found myself thinking about the ocean, about the simple island life, and I felt less stressed about the small problems of everyday life. My journey to the Maldives was more than just a vacation, it was an experience that touched my soul. It reminded me of the incredible beauty of our planet and the importance of taking time for ourselves. It created memories that will sparkle in my mind like the Maldivian waters, forever. I know, deep in my heart, that this won't be my last visit. The beautiful islands of the Maldives will always be calling me back. All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of our journey to the Maldives. I hope you enjoyed traveling to this beautiful place with me and that your English listening skills got a great workout. Now, it's your turn. Think about a journey you've taken, maybe a short trip or a big adventure. How would you describe it? Here are some important words we use today that you can practice. Dream, like a dream trip or if it felt like a dream. This word helps you talk about something you really, really want or something that feels unreal and wonderful. Excitement, this is a strong feeling of happiness and eagerness. We talked about excitement for the trip and getting excited for adventures. Beautiful, a very useful word to describe things that look nice, like beautiful blue water or beautiful coral. Amazing, this word means something is wonderful or surprising. We said amazing fish and amazing adventures. Peaceful, serenity, these words help you talk about feeling calm and quiet. We found peaceful sounds and a deep sense of serenity in the Maldives. Unforgettable, this means something you will always remember, like an unforgettable journey. Reflect. This means to think deeply about something. We reflected on the beauty of the place. Gratitude, this is the feeling of being thankful. We felt gratitude for the experience. Try to use these words when you talk about your own travels. You can even try to tell your story out loud, just like I did. If you enjoyed this listening practice, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more English lessons and stories. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Happy listening and happy traveling.